It's a 1,500-seat performing arts center with a 300-seat smaller black box theater. What we're going to be looking at is the millwork package, which was a $4.8 million contract, and we had millwork being fabricated in Minnesota. There were several challenges and complex issues, including getting to high areas and different details and interfacing with different materials that our millworker had to perform and be successful at to make this a unique project. Wilkie Sanderson was involved with all these walls and these wood slats on both this wall here as well as the wall behind you there. And they even did these tufted pillows, which are these purple pillows. And there were challenges with those when they fabricated them and they shipped them. They came out wrinkled, and so they had to brainstorm, and we collaborated together to come up with a solution to give it a cleaner look. As you can see, an extensive amount of millwork in this space in the main hall, 1,500-seat theater. So we built a scaffolding system to get all up to these catwalks here, which are all millwork. And this was a very challenging process to get all that in and installed correctly. As you can see, the geometry of it from a design standpoint made it very difficult. And then just the install itself was very difficult as well. And Wilkie Sanderson was involved from the very beginning, even during conceptual design. Interfacing with multiple different trades. You got light fixtures that had to land in the exact right places so that the holes lined up. You have speakers that you can't see. You have sprinkler heads. You have miscellaneous metal railings poking through the wood. So just almost every different trade is touching the millwork in some form or fashion. Everything had to fit like a puzzle.
Develop and put these points on Trimble, GPS layout throughout the whole site. And then we had a young gentleman that came in that ran with Trimble and did an excellent job with laying out everything. So everything underneath the slab, which as you'll see is right here, was hung from the slab. So it's basically a system where if the soil erodes and it's gravel underneath there, all of this is supported from the slab. Substation's 3 miles away, so we had 3 miles worth of MV cable to pull from the other side of the base. Devon was also in charge of that, pulling through, what was it, 17 manholes? But I was here before these trailers, all swampland out there, all the dirt that they moved in. They were averaging, I think it was 120 trucks a day. 120 trucks a day of soil to remove in, because they had to build up, let it settle, and then cut it. So they had to compact it and then let it settle for 3 months and then cut it. Well, because it was all old swampland.
So in Area T, that was all the underground, and everything was broken down. And as you work across, so you have a main electric room on the north side with the 3 generators. You have a main electric room here on the south side, and in turn, everything was fed 3.5 miles away, as Jim said, with the medium voltage. So, and then our wonderful CAD team, as Jim was telling you about, did an excellent job.
All these hanger rods tie into the slab. So we had to tie those off to the rebar in the slab. Every one of these had to be cut at a certain height, capped with a 3-inch by 3-inch square plate, and tied to the rebar. Just a fantastic group effort from the top all the way down to the bottom.
Unlike a typical stone system that's dead loaded from the bottom up, ECOD is more like a glass system, that you have mullions and transoms with insulated panels in between that actually give you your entire air barrier. That's sealant, gaskets, caulk the whole way through, and then your stone is actually just acting as a rain screen by itself. So Technically never needed to put stone in the building in order to be air and water tight. That's just what makes it look pretty at the end of the day. Step 1 of our process has already started down in phase 1. So if you actually guys look just down this is zone 5 north down there, where you're actually just starting to see our mast climbers getting installed. We will actually start taking the first stone off of phase 2 next Tuesday.
To try to integrate some of the accent of the original stone was finding a material that had some of the veining and establish an orientation that is never more than 45 degrees relative to horizontal. And through this process, we're able to meet the design intent with the final installation.
You can also see all of our site walls, our new colonial rose. The old site walls were the Tennessee pink. We were able to take that off. We actually have used it in multiple places, so we refurbished it and actually have used it in the building for stone base and some stone benches. The only difference is we polished it, honed down the back, it looks beautiful. One fun part where we actually kind of get to work with boatmen a little bit is we actually gave them some of the Tennessee pink that we salvage off of the site walls, and it's actually going to be crushed up and used as a part of the terrazzo in the north vestibule in phase 2. We actually on these walls had to take out the existing steel, and we had to install new steel that was bigger, stronger, everything else, but we actually had to set it back in-house about 4.5 inches, so that we went to go put the new stone on, you could still see that alignment from inside to outside when you have the glass.
It's critical, though, to have humidification to help protect these most treasured artifacts of aerospace history in perpetuity. But because of the lack of a thermally broken system with the existing assembly, it was creating far too much condensation. As they were saying, the building was crying. With the new system being thermally broken, with the envelope and the new HVAC replacement, these artifacts can be protected as needed with the target humidification. The monumentality of this iconic building need to be maintained and expressed. Such an important part of its identity on the mall and to its 8 million visitors or so per year.